Gang, today we are talking about weapon nerfs and buffs. We covered Warzone 2 days ago, and the biggest thing we noticed with the Warzone nerfs and buffs for most weapons, they were mostly Modern Warfare 2 weapons. They were making weapons that were like old and recycled better, I guess, or maybe more balanced towards the meta. With that being said, we have all the same weapons going into multiplayer, but rather than being, mostly MW2, they're really just focusing MW3. So I don't know what the big change with that was. They're making this huge push for MW2 weapons in Warzone right now. I don't necessarily understand why they wouldn't do the same thing for multiplayer, just to diversify. If they're gonna leave them in the game and recycle them over a year, they might as well make everything viable. But they're doing it pretty last minute, considering we have beta in a month. With that being said, here's a list of guns that got nerfed and buffed. We got the BAL-27. This absolutely got a nerf, and I'm a huge stan of that. With the BAL-27 in particular, I think a big thing, it's one of the most dominant ARs we've had in Call of Duty. The BAL-27 was outrageous. The Obsidian Steed variant was something like, fairy tale, bro. It was so good. So to see it come out in this game and not be good at all, I'm glad it's getting a buff. And I'm especially glad, considering how absolutely broken the STG is in multiplayer. You can't join a lobby without getting 3-tapped by that thing. It's so absolutely disgustingly good. For how fast it shoots, how accurate it is. Yeah, right. Superior 46. This got a nerf. The smallest nerf maybe in COD history. Got a movement nerf of 2%, 5%, 2%, 6%, with all different types of movement throughout. So literally the most minimal nerf of all time. The FJX Horus increased sprint of fire time from 93 to 110. So it looks like it got a nerf as well. A little bit more reasonable though. 17, 18%, 15. Those are pretty big numbers. I'm glad to see the Horus getting a nerf. Superior as well. The Reclaimer 18 got a buff. It needed a buff. Most shotguns in this game need a buff. If SMGs and if ARs are going to be as dominant as they have been, there's no reason shotguns shouldn't be very viable as well. We do have an MW2 shotgun, the KV Broadside, getting a little bit of a buff, decreased vertical recoil about 20%. The MX Guardian removed the ability to equip incompatible GRVZ short grip underbarrel attachment. I guess that's technically a nerf because now you can't attach that grip, but that grip really didn't make the gun, that much better. In the first place, light machine gun, the Puliamont 762, increased upper arm and lower arm damage multipliers from 1 to 1.1. That makes a big difference in multiplayer. That is a pretty solid buff. The MTZ Interceptor decreased maximum damage range from 35 to 22, minus 25%. Pretty fat nerf there. Decreased torso, lower torso, upper arm, lower arm, hand damage multiplier from 1 to 0.9. Again, in multiplayer with the TTK as fast as this game, that makes a pretty solid difference. The EBR-14 MW2, the SO90 factory stock fixed an issue causing players to become unable to move while aiming down sight. Solid, I guess. I don't know anybody running the EBR in multiplayer, especially. It's outrageous. They're still focusing and stuff like that. XRK Stalker increased upper leg, lower leg, and foot damage multipliers from 1 to 1.1. It says right here, within its maximum damage range, the XRK Stalker is now capable of one-shot kill regardless of hit location. Pretty solid. The Karak 300 MW2 increased maximum damage range from 2.7 meters to 17.8 meters. Increased near medium damage range from 30 to 66. Removed medium damage range. Core 45. They changed the fire rate here, so they decreased it from 375 to 240 because everyone's been crying about this, controller, mouse, and keyboard. People on mouse and key were abusing it, and then the second they couldn't, they're like, "Oh my god, controllers are broken." So they just made it bad for everybody. Let's see. Core 45 trigger action attachments were previously more beneficial than intended. Due to negligible downsides, fire rate increases are generally kept below 50%. We'll continue to monitor player feedback for potential improvements to base handguns. Let's see. The tire increased maximum damage range from 5.6 to 8.9. increased near medium damage range from 11.4 to 15.2. The GS Magna removed the ability to equip incompatible Jack NRG IV optic attachment. Sledgehammer got a nerf as well. I'm glad these melee weapons are mad annoying and they just use them to push out updates. But gang, that's what we got for today. If you're new to the channel, enjoy the content, hit the sub, catch the like, catch you tomorrow for another heater. Let's get a game.